So, welcome to Making a Zenafone. This video is sponsored by G Fuel's Sanic Chili Dogs. Nah, I'm just kidding. Can you imagine? No, today we're going to be making a scale called the Magna Scale. It's oddly enough from the 12 equal temperament Wikipedia page. I know it's super cringe to use Wikipedia, but whatever. So we have a chromatic scale, but instead of the usual 12th root of 2, the point, that thing, the craziest way to say 12 equal parts, cut it all into equal pieces, like pi, but that pi is in 12th root of 2, 3, 4, 2 to the power of 1 through 12. It's a crazy town. See, 2 to the power of 1 to 12. Basically, for each note, we have different options. And these could be not even these options. It could be any options. Any harmonic could be used, any fraction. It could be used depending on the use case, but we're just going to use these exactly to, just lay down some infrastructure. So, it's called the Magna Scale. Alright, so the first thing we did is we had our HTML input, we had Magna, so that way for this thingy you can select Magna. Now the next thing, we have our scales here. This is the first scale. It's going to be multidimensional, so for every element in the array it's going to be another array, except for the root note, which is only one thing. So, multi-dimensional array. So we have global plane and what's plane, and that's going to be set off on the on function every time a note's played. It's going to be true, so that way we can test if a note's plane, and what's plane is going to say is being set to the index. So at any given moment we can tell whether or not a note is playing and what note's playing. Okay, it's going to be very important. These are all our objects instantiated. Being instantiated. It's our big key down function with all our keys and on and off. Here is the other HTML input change event. Now we have Magna. The only difference between this one is now we have the extra brackets for the extra dimension, and it's all just going to be set to 0, meaning it's all going to render the first element in the array. The next feature that is unique to this is the position map, and that's going to be able to keep track of as we're scrolling through all our different notes. We're going to have to know which one we're on, so when we come back to it, we go back to the same one we're on. So all these zeros are going to be at different indexes throughout our session of play. So this is the money function. Our key down is 38 is key up, 40 is key down. So on key up, the first thing we're testing for is if a note's playing. The second thing is that's so we don't scroll into a plate. That's only So the second thing we're testing for is if the position map is if the second dimension array, as long as the note that we're on is not greater than the amount of notes that there are at a particular note, then we won't scroll over because the feature breaks if we scroll above or below the amount of notes. See down here, if you're down, as long as the note we're on is above 0, because if we scroll out of bounds, then it breaks. So the next thing we do is we increment a position map at the index that we're on, so whichever note we increment, or the next one decrement our position map, so it's keeping track of what note we're on. Now we just need to re-render the interface because our music class plays whatever's on the interface. So the fraction is the Magna Scale to the whatever index we're on. It's whatever note we're playing, and then position map to our index is going to evaluate to our element in the position map. That is going to be whatever number that we're on. Alright, so it's going to reference the position map to tell which index we're on for our note position. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of multi-dimensional arrays, a bit complicated, but next thing, decimals just evaluated, frequencies evaluate times root. Next we're going to do an off-on, just so every time we scroll, it's going to replay it. Alright, so we get a new note every time we scroll, so we get to hear it immediately. Okay, same thing, above 0, decrement. That's our key down. And now our last thing is, I forgot to change, when you change the standard pitch, it's going to re-render the interface, so as long as there's something there, multiply the fraction, the frequency is going to be multiplied by the fraction by our new root. And so that's pretty much it.